All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Andrew Levy. I work in talent acquisition, and we have a very special guest here today, Scott Heron. So, Scott, could you introduce yourself and kind of what you do at Autodesk?
Sure, Andrew. I'm Scott Heron. I'm Senior VP and Chief Financial Officer. I've been at Autodesk now just about 9 months, and I run of course, the finance team, but also EIS, our IT organization, rolls up under me.
Gotcha. So, in Autodesk terms, that's a newbie for sure. And I hear you're recruiting for a fairly high level position. What's the role, and can you describe the role a little bit?
Sure, it's a VP of Tax, Treasury, and Risk, which is pretty self-explanatory. We've also got our Procure to Pay organization falling in there today. And it's a VP level role reporting directly to me at a time when I think we've got some really interesting things happening inside Autodesk that play right to particularly tax and treasury. There's of the big three things on my plate right now, two of them fall into this area.
Excellent. High level position, obviously incredibly important, but what specifically about this role would you say is unique at Autodesk?
Yeah. Yeah, it starts with the shift that we're making as a company. I mean, Autodesk is changing from selling perpetual license, some packaged software, like most enterprise software companies our age, to a cloud-based subscription consumption style model, which means we're no longer selling software from a tax standpoint, we're selling a service. It's taxed very differently, it's delivered very differently, it's changing our transactional systems across the board, but it's also given us a chance to really step back and look at our tax structure that is decades old at this point and say, is it optimized for the new world that we're heading into? Is this the right tax structure? And then, besides that, there's a fair amount of legislative changes happening in the tax environment, not just in the U.S., but around the world. And so trying to triangulate those two, our business is changing and tax structures are changing around the world. There's a great opportunity to rethink and then try to connect the dots from where we are to what that optimum strategy looks like.
Absolutely. Okay, so moving beyond the role a little bit, talk to me a little bit about your team. What's the culture like on your team, and maybe provide the community with a little bit of background information on the CEO, Carl.
Yeah, sure. The team is quite good. I mean, I said I've been here 9 months, and one of the things you never know when you take a job like this is how strong is the direct report team. And I've been really impressed with the people on the team. We've got great tenures. As I look around the table, it's 5 years at Autodesk, 10 years, 11, 14, 15 years at Autodesk, which speaks volume. For talented people, it's a talented team. To have those kind of tenures in technology in the Bay Area, in the hub of technology, to keep people that long, I think speaks volumes about the work environment we have. So it's a good team. I like to have fun at work. We're all going to work hard. Everyone is working hard. There's a lot to do. But if you can't have fun at work, when are you going to have fun? And so I like to have a little fun. I certainly am a big fan of building camaraderie across the team, and we have events specifically targeted at that. Carl is a really interesting guy. Carl is the reason I left my previous company and came here. He's brilliant. He's about 6'4", and he kind of lumbers along when he walks, and he wears these jeans, and every day he's got a different T-shirt on, unless he's got a really important meeting, and you can always tell because those are the days he'll have a collared shirt on, usually a polo shirt like this, or I saw him in one meeting, he actually had a button-down shirt on, and I looked over and asked him if he had bought it the night before, because I've never seen him dressed up like that, but he gets it. He's been in this space a long time. He's really, really smart. He's very low ego, self-deprecating. He just wants to do the right thing, and he's empowered his team dramatically. So he's the main reason that I joined Autodesk.
That's great insight. And I can definitely confirm that. I've only seen him wandering around in a tattered T-shirt or casual jeans, which I think is pretty inspiring. So that's a great tone. Great. So I guess overall culture. You've only been here for a little while, but to that point around Carl, like what are your impressions about the overall kind of feel of Autodesk?
So Carl has got this philosophy that if he's CEO for 10 to 15 years, he believes over that time he'll make 5 to 6 decisions that really have an impact, that really affect the business longer term. And so his goal, and he's talked about this publicly, is to figure out what those 5 to 6 decisions are and then spend his effort making sure he gets those right. And so what it means as a direct report to Carl is you get a lot of freedom, you get a lot of autonomy, you get a lot of, yeah, Scott, that's your thing. You just go off and do it, which is fantastic as a direct report. The other thing it means is it's built a really tight team of direct reports because it's not, hey, I've got an issue, let me talk to Carl and then back down to one of my peers. We work with one another on a regular basis to get things done. It's a very, very open, collaborative. It's a place where the best idea wins, not necessarily the idea that came from the guy at the top of the org chart. And I just think that's really fun.
Excellent. Okay, guess steering it back towards the job just for a little bit. For this candidate that comes in, what would you say are the 2 or 3 top attributes that you're really looking for them to be successful?
Yeah, sure. I mean, obviously, as with any job, cultural fit is kind of job one. I've talked a lot about the tax work that needs to get done here, and I just think it's extremely exciting. A lot of tech companies have tax structures that we all set up, 20 years ago, 20, 25 years ago, and it was a completely different tech world back then. We have a chance to really relook at that and optimize that. We've got some really interesting things going on the Treasury side. As we go through this transformation, it's going to have an impact on our billings and our revenue, but our cash flow from ops too, and where that cash resides versus where we need it. And so there's some really interesting Treasury work to be done as well. And I would say that's probably the right rank ordering is cultural fit, understanding and excited about the things we can do on the tax front, and then a fair amount of, we've got a strong Treasury team, but someone that can help kind of pull together a longer term tax or Treasury strategy, cap strategy.
Excellent. You provided really great insights into this role. I really thank you for your time. Anything I might have missed here? Any parting words?
No, I'll say again, we've talked about culture, and I was at my previous company for 15 years, and I stayed for 15 years because it was just a great place to work. Having been at Autodesk now 9 months, the openness and the collaboration and the lack of passive aggressive behavior, which drives me crazy. There's no Machiavelli, and we're making a big change, and it's affecting every part of the company, and everyone's on board. There's no, I'm just going to wait for this to flame out and then say, I told you so. I literally haven't sensed any of that. It's really fun. I mean, I'm probably still in the honeymoon period a bit, having only been here 9 months, but I literally love to get up and come to work in the morning. It's a terrific environment.
Well, that is excellent to hear. All right, so candidates who might be seeing this, or if anyone's found the link in some way, there's an apply button on the top of the bottom, and Craig Vivid is the recruiter for this, and his information is kind of over to the right as well. All right, well, thanks again, and hopefully we'll get you someone awesome really soon.
That's great. Thanks, Andrew.
All right, bye, Scott.